Discover the incredible journey of a homeless girl, from laughter to life-changing piano prodigy. Lily always had a smile that sparkled brighter than the city lights surrounding her makeshift home under the old bridge. She was 10, with wide, innocent eyes that glimmered with dreams. While the world around her felt heavy, Lily laughed, her laughter dancing through the chilly air like sunlight breaking through clouds. Each day was a different adventure, collecting leftover pastries from Mr. Jenkins, the bakery owner, who'd always say, "Just a little something from the family," his warm donuts making her heart feel full, no matter how empty her stomach might be. Her world was a blend of vibrant street art smeared across crumbling walls, the scent of fresh bread mixing with the sharp tang of reality. Even though life beneath the bridge was tough, Lily created joy where she could. The community center was her oasis. Inside, she found a slightly battered piano, its keys worn from countless dreams played out under a flickering light. As her tiny fingers hit the keys, magic happened. She poured her heart into every note, forgetting the biting cold, the hushed whispers of nearby strangers who barely saw her, but, behind the music, there was pain. Her mother, a once vibrant spirit who filled their home with laughter and melodies, struggled against the swift undertow of addiction. Lily played to remember. She played for the affection her mother couldn't give. The city's annual music competition loomed. It was a beacon, a shot at something greater. The veterans at the community center, like Mr. Thompson, with his hands rough from battle, rallied around her. "You've got a gift, kiddo," he'd say, his eyes crinkling into a smile. They shared stories of their past, creating an unlikely family that wrapped around Lily like an old quilt, comforting and warm, yet, just as hope bubbled up, it cracked. Days before the competition, her mother disappeared again, leaving Lily alone in the echo of empty promises. Panic tightened around her heart like a vice. She sat at the piano, fingers trembling on the keys, each note shaking with emotion, anger, sorrow, disbelief. Memories of family danced in her mind, stories she hadn't experienced but always dreamed of. The piano began to resonate with her feelings, desperation and hope intertwined. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With each heartbeat echoing in her ears, she understood this wasn't merely music. It was her lifeline, a chance to rise from the ashes of her fragile family legacy. But shadows loomed, threatening to silence her dreams. As she sat poised at the piano, heart racing with anticipation, she thought, will the first note truly resonate, or will it fade into the silence of her struggles? The performance awaited, and Lily stood on the precipice of something grand. Would her spirit shine brightly enough to redefine her story, or would she remain tethered to the darkness? The sun dipped low, casting a golden hue that made even the cold concrete feel warm. Lily's heart raced as the day of the competition drew nearer. Each moment seemed to pulse with a raw energy born from her fear and hopes. She could almost hear the chatter of the crowd, feel the weight of their expectations resting on her small shoulders. She had never played in front of so many people. In the waning light, she padded softly to the community center. It had become her sanctuary these last few days, the piano her best friend. Each time she played, she lost herself, crafted her own universe where worries melted away. With each note, she conjured memories of her mother and flickers of laughter that felt like echoes faint but present. As she settled down onto the piano bench, she thought of the last time they sat together. "Just remember, Lily," her mother had said with that bright smile, "music can tell stories words can't." She could see her, swirling in a dress that spun with her like a whirlwind of color, twirling beneath the night sky. As the melody flowed from her fingers, Lily drew strength from the pain in her heart and the love she still held for her mother, but doubt lingered. What if her mother never returned? The thought gnawed at her, chipping away at her resolve. She slammed her fingers on the keys, striking a chord that resonated with her turmoil. Tears spilled down her cheeks, but she didn't wipe them away. Each drop felt like a release, a cleansing. She played as if the piano was absorbing her grief, transforming it into something beautiful. Then, Mr. Thompson burst into the room, his face a picture of concern. "Hey, kid," he said softly, stepping closer. "Just wanted to check on you. Are you ready?" Lily sniffled, shaking her head as she stilled her hands. "I don't know, Mr. Thompson. What if I mess up? What if nobody cares to listen?" He placed a large hand on her shoulder. "Listen, they will care. You're not just playing notes, you're telling a story. Don't ever forget that." The warmth of his words wrapped around her, and she hesitated for a moment, then nodded, feeling a little lighter. But what if she started to protest, but was cut off by the gentle smile on his face? There's power in vulnerability, Lily. You go out there and let them see you. Fears and all. With that spark ignited inside her, Lily returned to the piano. The keys seemed to shimmer in anticipation as if they were just waiting for her to unleash her soul. She thought of the faces that would fill the room, the kindness of Mr. Jenkins, the laughter of the children she played with, the encouragement of those who had become her family. As the night closed in around her, Lily knew she was ready, not just for the competition, but to face the world. Yet just as she found her strength, an unexpected sound echoed against the walls of her makeshift world, the familiar clink of a bottle. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be? Could her mother be back? She halted, breathless, eyes darting toward the entrance. The tension in the air thickened with questions she wasn't sure she was ready to answer. What if this moment of hope crumbled into despair again? Would she find the strength to play, or would she be left haunted by the shadows of her past? Lily drew a deep breath, ready to confront her fears, knowing that the next step would change everything. Her heart whispered this was only the beginning. The clinking grew louder, each sound echoing against the walls, sending tremors through Lily's heart. She held her breath, her fingers suspended above the keys. Was it a mirage brought on by longing? She could hardly afford to hope, but the slightest chance sparked a fire within her. Slowly, she turned toward the entrance. The light from the street spilled into the room, and there, silhouetted against the glow, stood a figure. Her heart raced, the hope and fear collided in a whirlwind. It couldn't be, could it? As the figure stepped into the light, her breath caught in her throat. It was her mother. But not the mother she remembered, the vibrant soul who twirled with laughter. This was a woman worn down by life. The shadows under her eyes seemed deeper, her clothes hung loosely, reflecting hard times. Yet, there was a spark still glimmering beneath the surface, and it sent chills down Lily's spine. Lily. Her mother's voice wavered, thick with emotion. I'm back. Time around her felt suspended, the piano forgotten in that moment. Her heart wrestled with 100 emotions, a mix of joy, anger, and confusion. Where have you been? Why did you leave? The words spilled from her lips before she could choke them back. Her mother stepped further into the light, hands trembling as she reached out. I made mistakes, I know. I was lost, but I've fought hard to find my way back, to you. Lily's vision blurred as tears brimmed again, but this time it was a different kind of pain. It was a shattering hope colliding with the reality she deformed in her absence. But you promised you wouldn't go away. Each word was a dagger, yet the love still anchored her. I broke that promise, and I'm so sorry. Her mother's voice cracked. I've missed so much, but I want to make it right. Lily wanted to run into her arms, to forgive, to pretend that everything could revert to the way it once was. But the walls she had built were thick, fortified by years of disappointment and loneliness. How? What do you mean? Are you really back to stay? Biting her lip, Lily grappled with her desires. All she had wanted was this moment, yet now that it was here, it felt terrifying. The darkness still loomed. Could she trust it wouldn't take her mother away again? Her mother took a cautious step forward, as though sensing the storm brewing within Lily. I'm here to stay. I've been working day and night, trying to get back on my feet. And I promise, I'll be at your competition. I want to hear you play. The mention of the competition stirred something deep inside Lily, a reminder of what had kept her going all along. This wasn't just about the music, it was about connection, about sharing the light in her heart. She hesitated, all at once wanting to reach out while also shielding herself from potential heartache. Can you really come? Can you really support me this time? She whispered, her voice barely above a tremor. I promise, Lily, I'll be there, her mother assured, sincerity flooding her every word. I don't want to miss it. You're my daughter and you're incredible. I can't wait to see you shine. The flicker of hope rekindled, but the shadows lingered behind her thoughts. Just then, Mr. Thompson, who had been watching silently in the background, stepped forward. Lily, he said gently, this is your moment. Whatever you choose, make it yours. It is your story, and it deserves to be told. With a pounding heart, she faced the piano again. Her fingers hovered over the keys, ready to pour her essence into the notes, to tell the story that had been woven from love and loss. But there was still a lingering doubt. As she prepared to play, she was torn between her longing for unity and the fear of loss, her fingers trembling with uncertainty. Would she pour everything into a performance or hold back, scared of what it could mean? The line between fear and hope blurred, and as a heavy silence settled around her, she knew the answer lay in the music that demanded to be played. In that breath, she closed her eyes and began to play. But would the sounds transport her into a world of healing, or would she be left with the echoes of a past she couldn't escape? The notes flowed from her fingers like whispers of a long-forgotten dream. Each key brought back memories, the warmth of her mother's embrace, the laughter they shared. The melody wrapped around her heart, making it both sore and ache. But as she played, shadows from the past crept back in the night spent alone, the long silences that followed her mother's absence. Lily focused on the music, trying to drown out the doubts swirling in her mind. With every chord, she poured out her story, the longing, the hurt, and the hope. It was a beautiful mess that danced through the air, weaving between the soft, melancholy notes. She opened her eyes, finding her mother watching her with tears glistening in her eyes. In that moment, there was a connection, a fragile bridge forming through music. Suddenly, the door swung open, a gust of cold air sweeping through. Lily's heart sank as she turned to see a familiar face, Emily, her best friend, rushing in. Lily! You won't believe it. Emily exclaimed, her breath quick. I heard you were practicing. And I couldn't wait to hear how it's going. Is everything okay? The excitement in Emily's voice faded when she saw the weight of emotion in Lily's expression. I'm fine, Lily lied, forcing a smile. But she wasn't fine. The performance she was trying to prepare had turned into an unforeseen emotional battleground. The weight of wanting her mother there now felt heavier than ever. Your mom, she's back, isn't she? Emily asked gently, her voice laced with concern. Lily nodded, her throat tight. Yeah, she says she wants to be here for me, but I don't know if I can trust that. I don't know how to let her back in. Maybe you just have to take it one step at a time, Emily suggested, her tone soft. You can't control everything. Just focus on your music for you. That's the most important part. Lily took a deep breath, knowing Emily was right. The music was hers. Just like the moment. Each note built a structure of healing she desperately needed, surrounding her like a warm blanket. You're right, she admitted, a flicker of determination igniting within her. I need to play for myself. Not for her, not for anyone else. As the melody began anew, it transformed into something brighter. Each chord lifted her spirits higher, a symphonic expression of her journey, affirming that she was more than just a product of her past. The sound grew bold, sweeping the room like a powerful wave, each note reclaiming pieces of her heart. Mr. Thompson watched, an approving nod on his face. He recognized the change, the passion bursting forth was palpable. But mid-performance, just when the music soothed Lily's turmoil, she caught a glimpse of her mother's face, shimmering with pride and remorse. The cracks in her heart began to widen. Was this enough? Was this bridge made of music sturdy enough to carry them both? And then, in the climax of her performance, just as she reached the most poignant part, the door behind her opened again. Lily's heart skipped. Could it be someone else? Curiosity tinged with fear washed over her. She hesitated, fingers still poised above the keys, as the sound of more footsteps echoed around her. What if it was someone she didn't expect? What if these new arrivals changed everything again? Taking a deep breath, she pressed a final note, letting it linger in the air, a question hanging unspoken. What awaited her beyond the music? What truths would be uncovered when the sounds faded away? Lily held her breath, the final note still vibrating in the air. She turned slightly, her heart racing, and felt all eyes on her. The newcomers moved into view, and her breath caught once more. At the entrance stood her childhood music teacher, Ms. Anderson, flanked by two other figures, one of whom was a tall man with a familiar silhouette. Her father. He hadn't been part of her life for so long, and his presence felt like a thunderclap in the quiet room. Lily. Ms. Anderson began, her voice gentle yet firm. I hope we're not interrupting. But it wasn't just Ms. Anderson. The look on her father's face held a mixture of regret and longing, as if he had traveled miles to reach her, battling storms to find a way back into her life. Lily's fingers fell away from the keys. Her mother's tear-streaked face wavered in the background, the tension in the air becoming palpable. Dad? She breathed, the word coming out as both a question and a statement. The last time she had seen him was years ago, on what felt like a different planet of hurt and confusion. I know it's been a long time, he said, moving toward her as if afraid she might shatter if he got too close. I'm so sorry for everything. I wasn't there when you needed me. I've missed so much. Emotions swirled inside Lily, overwhelming her like a tidal wave: anger, sadness, confusion. Her heart raced as she confronted the very person whose absence had contributed to her loneliness. What do you want? She managed, her voice trembling but firm. I want to be here, if you'll let me, he said, his voice cracking. I want to support you, to hear you play again. The room filled with a heavy silence, punctuated only by the echo of her music lingering in the air. She studied him, searching for signs of sincerity, of the father she once knew. But the years felt like too great a chasm to bridge. In that moment, Lily felt a sharp turn in her heart. She had spent years quietly developing her passion for music, filling the void he created, but seeing him now swelled that void with a mix of longing and resentment that threatened to spill over. She faltered, the lump in her throat swallowing her words. What if this was another empty promise, just like before? What if he faded away again? Ms. Anderson stepped forward, sensing the conflict that raged within. Lily, sometimes our hearts need time to heal. We can't rush what isn't ready. But, think about it, is this bridge something you want to build? Lily looked back and forth between her father and her music teacher, as memories flooded her mind, the hours spent waiting for him to come home, the promises he made to always be there. With a deep breath, she positioned her fingers back on the keys. What if I do let you? What then? Her heart raced as she prepared to play again, each note now heavy with expectation. A mosaic of emotions brewed within her, a mix of hope, fear, and uncertainty. As her fingers danced over the keys, ready to share the depths of her soul once more, a new question loomed in her mind. Could the music be a bridge to forgiveness, or would it only echo the pain of the past? And as she pressed the first note, resonating with everything she felt, she wondered what truth awaited on the other side of her broken melody. Would it be enough to rebuild their shattered connections? Would her music change them both forever? Lily's fingers glided over the keys, each note spilling out like a confession. The music surged and ebbed, reflecting the chaos within her heart. She could feel their eyes, her father's hopeful gaze, Ms. Anderson's steady encouragement, and her mother's emotional uncertainty. Every person in the room felt like an extension of her own tangled feelings. As the melody filled the air, Lily's thoughts drifted. Memories swept through her, wrapping around the notes time spent alone, the clatter of the keys in an empty room. This was her sanctuary, where each chord held the promise of escape and expression. The music crescendoed, and for a brief moment, the tension began to ease. A flicker of longing sparked inside her chest, igniting the yearns of a little girl who had craved her father's presence. In the rhythm of her playing, she began to imagine a different world, one where they might reconnect and heal, but just when the emotions peaked, doubt crept back in. What if it was all an illusion? Hadn't she already painted herself a picture of reconciliation only to watch it fade? Lily hesitated, her fingers hovering above the keys. Maybe it's too late, she thought, fear creeping into her mind like a thief. She glanced at her father. The longing in his eyes felt tangible, but was it enough to erase the emptiness years of absence had carved in her soul? With a deep breath, she pushed the fear away. She concentrated on the music, what she could control. Each note wasn't just sound, it was her voice, telling stories and expressing feelings she hadn't yet found the words for. Suddenly, she felt a warmth flooding her chest as she played. A deep sense of vulnerability mixed with the strength of her resolve. This is me, she thought. No more hiding. As the final note resonated, silence enveloped the room. It wasn't the silence of despair. It was charged, alive. She looked up, and at that moment, there was an understanding in her father's eyes, an unspoken agreement that perhaps they could begin to navigate the treacherous waters of their past together. Ms. Anderson smiled, her eyes glistening. That was beautiful, Lily. You have a gift, the power to bridge gaps through your music, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Lily felt a swell of courage. Maybe we can talk? She asked her father tentatively, her heart hammering in her chest. It was a small step, but it felt monumental. Absolutely. If you'll allow it, I'd love nothing more, he replied, his voice thick with emotion. Her mother leaned into the moment, wiping her tears away. I think this might be a turning point for all of us, she whispered, the hope renewing her spirit that had dimmed for so long. Lily nodded, her heart racing not from fear anymore, but from the excitement of possibility. But how do we really start over? As the echoes of the final note lingered, she realized this was just the beginning of a long journey, a dance not only with her father's return but with her own emotions, fears, and dreams, and while a thread of uncertainty still wove through her thoughts, Lily knew in her heart that she was ready to embrace whatever emerged from the depths of their shared history. What began as a tentative foundation of hope now hung like a tangible and fragile promise in the air, but as they stood there in that charged silence, a new question echoed in her mind. Would she have the strength to face the memories that lay ahead? And could she find a melody that would bring the family together again, transforming hurt into harmony? Lily's heart felt light, but it was also heavy with questions. As she glanced around the room, she could still feel the pull of uncertainty surrounding them all. The air buzzed with potential, yet fear lurked like a shadow, ready to snatch away the hope they had just begun to grasp. She tried to read her father's face, searching for reassurance amid his emotional turmoil. What do I say? She thought anxiously. It wasn't just about playing music anymore, it was about bridging the enormous gap that separated them. Why don't we start by talking about everything? Her father suggested gently, his voice soft, as if afraid to break whatever fragile connection had just formed. Lily blinked, feeling a mix of surprise and fear. Could they really dive into the depths of their past after so many years? The idea of unraveling the hurt and disappointment felt like stepping onto unstable ground. But beneath that fear was a flicker of curiosity, a desire to finally understand. Okay, let us try, she agreed, her voice trembling with both hope and uncertainty. Ms. Anderson nodded, sensing the significance of this moment. You're both taking a brave step, she chimed in, her encouragement wrapping around them like a warm blanket. Lily's mother wiped a stray tear from her eye as she said, it's slow, but every little thing counts. And you both deserve to be heard. As Lily took a deep breath, she could see the flicker of her father's regret flaring up in the trepidation of his gaze. She wanted to reach out, to close the distance between them, but the walls they had built were still there, looming high like an impenetrable fortress. Dad, she hesitated, fighting against the tides of old resentment. I've been angry I didn't understand why you chose to leave. His eyes filled with pain. Lily, it hurts so much, she interrupted, each word heavy with years of bottled emotions. I would sit at the piano, and it would be the only place I could feel anything but the sadness. I know. I didn't want to hurt you, her father implored, his voice shaking. I thought it was better to stay away to avoid causing more pain. By staying away, you caused even more, Lily replied, feeling the sting of truth on her tongue. She was ready to let it out, ready to dig deep into the memories and the moments that had shaped her. I know, he whispered, the weight of his mistakes pressing against him. But I'm here now. Let us figure this out together. Lily felt something shift like a deep breath of fresh air after a long winter. As she looked into her father's eyes, she saw a man who was ready to fight for their relationship. What if we start with the small things? She suggested. What about the music? Absolutely, he nodded eagerly. I'd love that. Ms. Anderson watched them, her heart swelling with hope. She sensed they were laying the first few bricks in a shaky foundation. The musings of the past held sway, but possibility was rising. Just then, a rush of ideas filled Lily's mind. Maybe I could teach you some of the songs I've been working on. And we can try playing together. Her father's eyes widened, lighting up like the sun breaking through dark clouds. I'd like that. I used to play, before. Before everything, she echoed softly. As an unexpected smile crept across her father's face, Lily felt that barrier begin to crack. The lingering doubt whispering that this was all temporary started to fade, replaced by something alive. But just as they leaned into this fragile newfound connection, a shadow crossed her mother's face. What if we uncover things that are too painful to handle? She interjected, her voice barely above a whisper. The question hung in the air, heavy and undeniable. A tension built between hope and fear, echoing through the empty space around them. Lily's heart raced. What if we don't? In that moment, she realized she was ready. Ready to confront not just her father's past but her own deeply ingrained fears. And yet dread lingered at the edges, whispering that knowing could change everything. Could they really face the harmonies of their hurt together? Or would the memories split them apart once more? Lily sat up a little straighter, her pulse quickening. The air felt charged, electric with what was starting to unfold. We won't know unless we try, right? She challenged, her voice steadier than she felt. Her father nodded, but the concern did not leave his eyes. You're braver than I ever was, Lily, he admitted, his voice breaking slightly. He ran a hand through his hair, visibly grappling with the emotions rising within him. But I'm terrified of what might come out. I don't want to hurt you, again. Just be honest, Lily urged, surprising herself with her confidence. That's all I need. Just tell me what you were thinking. Why did you leave? He inhaled deeply, fighting against the well of regret threatening to swallow him whole. I was scared, Lily. I thought I could be a better father by staying away. I thought, maybe you'd be happier without me. His words held a painful sincerity, and Lily felt the surge of bittersweet sympathy. She shook her head. I was never happy without you. Just, confused, angry, and lonely. I don't want to feel that way anymore. Ms. Anderson interjected gently, it's important to share, but also to listen. There's a lot of pain on both sides. Lily turned to her father, challenging him with her gaze. I want us to really hear each other, not just talk. Okay, he said, sadness woven through his acceptance. You're right. I want to listen. As they exchanged looks, the silence grew heavier, but it was a welcome weight. Unsure how to express all that had been left unsaid, Lily felt her heart race again, both in anticipation and fear. "What do you want to know?" he finally asked, eyes brimming with hope and worry. "How did you feel when you left?" she whispered, so low that it felt like a prayer. His mouth opened and closed, searching for the right words. "I didn't want to hurt you. I wanted you to have a better life than the one I could give. I thought, maybe if I disappeared, you could find happiness without me." The revelation hit Lily like cold water. "But that's just not how it works." "It hurt, Dad. I was a kid." Tears began to prick her eyes. She looked down, willing herself to hold it together. "I wanted you there, even if things were hard." His expression shifted, a flicker of realization crossing his face. "I see that now, but back then, I was lost. I thought running away was the answer." The vulnerability in his voice caused Lily to inhale sharply. With each confession laid bare, a glimmer of understanding formed in the space between them. "You could have told me," she said, her voice quiet but firm. "We could have figured it out together." "I know," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I can't change the past. I can only promise that I'm willing to fight for us now. But I'm terrified of failing you again." "Then don't," she replied simply, a newfound determination swelling in her chest. "Let us learn together. With the music, we can make things easier." They sat in silence for a moment, considering that unexpected pathway laid before them. It wouldn't erase the hurt, but it offered hope a chance to build what had been broken. Just then, her mother, sitting quietly, spoke up. "Lily, what if this means confronting even more hard truths?" "What if it does?" Lily asked, catching sight of her mother's worried expression. "We can handle it together, right?" The air around them held its breath, and suddenly, everything felt fragile again. Challenges lay ahead, a tangled mix of emotions still waiting to be unraveled. Lily's heart raced. Could they truly find a way forward through the music and shared pain? Or would the weight of their past prove too heavy to bear? As they sat there, the room filled with the sound of nothing but the fragile rhythm of their emotions, a chord struck deep within her. Maybe the music they created would tell a story beyond words. But just as hope began to blossom, a voice outside called out, breaking the weighty silence, "Is anyone in there?" Lily's heart sank. Who was it? What did they want? The fragile moment they had just begun to share felt like it was slipping away, just when they were ready to dive deeper together. Lily's heart raced. She exchanged glances with her father, whose eyes mirrored her unease. "What if it's someone from the school?" she whispered, her breath catching in her throat. She didn't want anything to disturb what was blossoming between her and her father. "Hold on," her father replied, getting up to move towards the door. "Let me see who it is." As he approached the door, the air thickened with palpable tension. Lily pressed her palms against her knees, feeling the cool skin on the wooden floor beneath her. She could almost hear the echo of her father's unspoken fears drifting in the silence. Would they be interrupted before they could make sense of everything? Suddenly, her father opened the door, revealing a young boy, maybe 14, with unruly hair and a hopeful expression. "I heard some music." "I didn't mean to interrupt." His voice trailed off, and he seemed to realize just how serious the moment was. Lily's father glanced back at her, concern still etched across his face. "We weren't playing music," he said gently, but the boy continued to stare, as if that hope flickered in his own heart. "I thought maybe you could teach me," the boy said, his voice barely above a whisper. He glanced around the opulent, silent room, and then met Lily's gaze. "Your piano sounds amazing. I've never played one before, but I love music." Lily hesitated. Here was this kid most likely from a tough background, and somehow, he had found their little sanctuary. All the warmth that had been building with her father felt momentarily overshadowed by the boy's enthusiasm. "Do you want to come in?" her father asked, glancing at Lily, gauging her reaction. Lily bit her lip. Part of her wanted to lock the door and keep diving deep into the important conversation with her father. But another part of her felt an unexpected tug of compassion. Perhaps this was more than chance. Maybe this boy needed a way in just as much as they did. Yeah. Come on in, she said, her voice shifting to a lighter tone. The boy's face lit up, and he slipped into the room, his nervous energy suddenly filling the space. Thanks. I'm Max. I love the idea of playing music. He took a hesitant step toward the piano, his eyes sparkling. Can you show me how? Her father chuckled softly, tension easing just a little. This is Lily. She's actually the one you should ask. She plays beautifully. As Lily watched Max approach the piano, excitement bursting forth in him, she felt a sense of purpose spark within herself. Maybe this was a sign, maybe this was the universe giving her an opportunity to build what was broken not just with her father but in the world beyond, too. Okay, Max, Lily said, moving closer to the piano. Let's start with the basics. She placed her fingers delicately over the keys, and a melody floated into the air, soft and welcoming. Max's eyes widened in awe, the little boy captivated. Lily could almost forget the storm of feelings waiting to be addressed, drawing her into the warmth of a new connection. As she taught him a few notes, she couldn't shake off the feeling that this boy's journey might intertwine with hers in ways she couldn't yet foresee. With each passing moment, she realized they were each navigating their own labyrinth of heartache, searching for light amid the shadows. Suddenly, her mother spoke again, her voice quieter now but still carrying concern. Lily, it's wonderful to help him, but we still need to talk about everything that happened. The words rushed back in like a sudden wave, pulling her under. The lump in her throat returned with force. Could they really balance the intense conversations of the past, the new joy of teaching, and the uncertainty of the future? Lily took a deep breath, her heart caught between the weighty truths of their family and this unexpected friendship blooming right in front of her. As if sensing her resolve, Max chimed in with a bright smile. Music feels like magic, doesn't it? What magic awaited them as they moved forward? Could Lily, her father, and now Max truly discover healing through music? Just then, a loud knock echoed from the door, jolting them all. Lily? Are you okay? The voice belonged to her mother, insistently. In that moment, Lily realized this was just the beginning of the journey, leading them through a maze of emotions and possibilities yet unknown. Would they be ready for the challenges of that unfolding path? Lily's heart raced as her mother's voice echoed through the room. She exchanged anxious glances with her father and Max, uncertainty hanging heavy in the air. What do we do? She whispered, the threads of tension and excitement intertwining. Just be honest, her father said, his eyes reflecting the same struggle she felt. He took a deep breath, preparing himself to face the woman he had hurt, the little girl that had grown up too fast without him. Mom! I'm here. Lily called out, her voice strong despite the tremor of fear. She felt a rush of clarity. This was her moment to solidify the newfound connection she started to build with her father. No matter how fragile it felt, it was theirs. The door creaked open, and her mother stepped in, her expression a mix of concern and longing. Lily, is everything okay? I heard music and voices. I just needed to make sure. Before Lily could decipher the weight of the concern, her father took a step forward. We were just talking, and a friend came to visit. His tone softened as he glanced at Max, whose eager excitement was palpable. This is Max. He's interested in learning music. Hi. Max chirped, his energy brightening the charged atmosphere. Lily's teaching me. It's amazing. Her mother's eyes filled with surprise, then warmth, a flicker of hope ignited. That's wonderful. I love music. It has a way of connecting people, doesn't it? Exactly. Max said, his enthusiasm infectious. It feels like magic. As they all exchanged smiles, Lily felt a wave of relief wash over her. Maybe this meeting was meant to be, maybe the connections they were forming weren't just fleeting moments. Her heart whispered that she could bridge old wounds with the sound of laughter and hope. "Mom," Lily said, stepping closer. "We're just starting to talk about things, and I think it's time we really face what has happened. Together." Her voice rang clear, resonating with conviction. She was ready, no more hiding behind uncertainty. Her mother nodded, tears shimmering in her eyes. "You're right. I've wanted to talk," but her voice trailed off as she wavered between the confusion and love that had always been at odds in their family. "Let's take it slow," suggested Lily's father, positioning himself to be an active part of the conversation. "One step at a time." Max looked between the three of them, keenly aware that a weighty moment was unfolding. "I can step out if you want. Music can wait." "No, Max, stay," Lily insisted, her voice gentle but firm. "We all need to learn together. And besides, maybe you can help us navigate this better." Her mother smiled at Max, discovering reassurance in his presence. "Yes, sweet boy. You remind us of the beauty of new beginnings." As they all gathered around the piano, the air grew thick with a symphony of everything they wanted to express: the hurt, the sorrow, and a yearning for connection. "Lily, I've missed so much," her father began slowly. "I know I can't take back my absence, but I want to be part of your life now, if you'll let me." Lily nodded, seeing the sincerity in her father's face. "It's a long road, Dad. But we can walk it together, right? We don't have to rush." Her father smiled through his tears, nodding vigorously. "I want to be part of this journey for both of you now," her mother added, stepping closer. "I'm committed to showing up, to really show up this time. No more promises I can't keep." With those words hanging between them, a hope filled the air, shimmering and fragile. The piano keys shone like a beacon, waiting patiently for them to unleash their voices. "You're right, we should play," Max said, a grin spreading across his face. "Music can help us tell our stories, so let us do it." With a spark of determination ignited within them, Lily sat at the piano, lifted her hands, and began playing a joyful tune, one that melded their hopes and dreams into a symphonic masterpiece. As she played, laughter bubbled up from Max, filled with contagious excitement. Her mother and father joined in with voices that held promise. Even fragile, they carried the potential of healing. In that moment, they weren't just a family tied by blood. They were a community woven together by shared pain, a tapestry whose threads glimmered with the potential to turn hurt into healing, confusion into clarity. Lily smiled, casting a glance at her father, who met her gaze with a proud expression. "Let us keep playing," she said, the warmth blossoming in her chest. "Each note is a step. Each melody is our journey." As the music swelled around them, Lily realized this was more than just a performance, it was the beginning of something beautiful. They were learning to embrace imperfection, to forgive, and to love wholeheartedly, and as they played, they understood and felt the powerful truth: music could indeed bridge the gaps between them, a thread of hope connecting their hearts, weaving through the stories yet to be told. Their harmony echoed, promising a family that would not only survive but learn to thrive together. Now's the moment. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now because your support fuels my content and helps spread positivity. Don't wait not even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Your voice matters, and together, we can create a community built on hope, healing, and music. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this ending. Let us talk about what this journey means to you.